Smoking OG got my brain fried. My neighborhood taught me to stay fly. Never trust a snake cause they all sliver. Never cuff a bitch if my dog hit her. Rolling up back some do swishers. Trying to get my stacks up like I'm Jewish, nigga. Niggas had the plug, they ain't know what to do. Got trapped right now, I'm about to bounce out the booth. If you got enough, I'll bring it to you. If you acting tough, I'll bring it to you. A&S, we the fucking greatest. See them niggas over there, they some fucking haters. They hate to see a young nigga make it to the top, that's what we about to take it. Came in the game like Nino at the Carter. Came in the game, I was balling like a starter. Any competition is a mustard, I slaughter. Niggas on some turkey shit, I'ma have to carve them. Bitches on some greedy shit, I'ma have to starve them. Can't get enough, I'm about to start charging. Wouldn't fuck your bitch even if she tried to offer. Nowadays I swear these niggas getting softer. Riding off emotions, man, that'll get you murked. Shots from the German, I ain't talking about dirt. Body found in a dumpster on the outskirts. Be the ones you least suspect that'll get you out first. Maneuver through the streets like a possum. I fucks with all the killers and the robbers. Bad bitches too that be rocking red bottoms. And all my ratchet hoes that'll ride with no problem. A&S, we the fucking greatest. See them niggas over there, they some fucking haters. They hate to see a young nigga make it to the top, that's what we about to take it.
Rumor is, how could he be so savage? Hey, figure I'm way bigger than these geographic bastards. West Side call me Mir, South Philly Snoop. My young boys never balled, but they really shoot. Y'all sweet, lot of sheep in gorilla suits. You a touch, who, what, where, that's really cute. The lesson, apply it to perfection. Blow a bunch of fire, I'm inspired by progression. OG kinda tired with the wrecking liars. Niggas got a bunch of Mariahs.
What that mean? 1:50 p.m. M3, what that mean? Good afternoon, y'all. I wasn't even going. I forgot all about this joint. I was in my on my twist, y'all. What's going on, y'all, this afternoon? Man, mine's in the building. What that look like? What's that? Shell. Who that? What the fuck is that? Hello, my friend. Hey, how you doing? How's it going today? How's everybody Sunday? So why is this hitting? I don't know what's going on here. I can't seem to see the comment. I don't know what's going on. But I know, oh, there we go. Hello, my friend. How are you? What's wrong? No. You can't see. No, it's good. I got it. So today, y'all, I got a story to tell, y'all. I don't know if y'all know about. Let me pull something up real quick while I'm doing this. John Whitehead. I know McFadden and Whitehead. They had a lot of hit songs. Well, not a lot of hit songs, but the thing about them, they wrote a lot of hit songs. But John Whitehead, he got murdered. And they never found his they haven't yet to solve his murder. So let me give you a little quick. Like this is the song that made him popular.
Sometimes you just need them.
This is the song that put him on the map as far as singing. This is the song right here. Under new management, how you doing? This song right here, him and his partner, they wrote this song back in the day. Y'all know this song? Yeah, this is the song McFadden and Whitehead. They wrote this song. So they wrote a lot of other songs. I think they wrote a lot of songs for the OJs. A lot of the OJs' top hits was written by McFadden and Whitehead. They wrote for Philadelphia. We got a major. We major as far as music worldwide. We got a sound. We got our own sound. It was called Philly International Sound. Gamble and Huff. Y'all know Kenny Gamble and his partner John Huff. I believe that's his name. But I know Kenny Gamble and John Huff. They wrote. So McFadden and Whitehead, they wrote for that label. And so if you came through that label, everybody come through there. The Harold Melvin and the Blue Nose, the Delphonics, Phyllis Hyman, everybody come through Philly International. You know what I'm saying? So McFadden and Whitehead, back then, I'm gonna tell you something about Philly, right? If you're an artist, an athlete, and like the street guys, the gangsters and stuff, they push you to do what you do. Like they push it because when you get it, they get it from you. Like street guys always want to put their people in those kind of, so they would push guys like him. So he had a lot of street ties. You know what I mean? John Whitehead, he had a lot of street ties and shit, coming up, we might not have no money to get in the studio and stuff like that. The street guys would pay for that. Basketball team ain't got no uniforms. Street guys would pay for that kind of stuff. And if those guys were fortunate enough to make it, and then you don't forget, you don't forget where you come from. Y'all, you know what I mean? So they made it. Like, they made it. He was on Soul Train, and I think they got all kind of awards. They got major accolades, in the music industry. But you know how that game go, and that was big. That was like in the late 70s, early 80s when they was popping. You know what I'm saying? And like back then, Winfield, Germantown, Uptown, and Philly, that's where like people with bread. If you was, doctors, lawyers, entertainers, even athletes, they lived up there. Ye and Sharon Hill, up, places like that in Philly. That was the suburban areas in Philadelphia. You know what I mean? And that's where, John Whitehead, that's where he lived up there. You know what I mean? So now, bro had, I don't know this guy personally, but he had a lot of kids. You know what I'm saying? He had a lot of kids, and I met his son. His son was he had a son who was in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Michael Whitehead. You know what I'm saying? And I remember running into this guy, and kicking it, whatever. And he was telling me who his father was. You know what I'm saying? And that's we built a relationship, but it wasn't on none of that. It was on some other shit. But that was, that was his pop and shit. That was Mike Pop and shit. And this was the time I met him. His pop was already passed away. He was already deceased. And Mike was telling me about how it was so many family members that the state was all messed up. But he was about to come into, some digits because of the state. And they was trying to get all the music together. Because, they've been using that music on commercials and all that. And the reason why, like, that's why people had a finances and personal business in order. What's up, Truth? What's going on? Football Sunday, so I know I ain't gonna get a whole lot of people here, but that's all good. This to give you some replay. You can come back to this joint, yeah. So Mike got tight, and I'm saying, like, he was like the only reason why nobody got no money from his estate is because of the kids. There's so many kids and stuff like that, but he was about to come into some bread or whatever. So now it's alleged it's alleged that John Whitehead was kicking back money to one of the leaders of the Black Mafia, and at this time Jabbar, that's who he was kicking back to, Jabbar. You know what I mean? Jabbar was in the penitentiary at this time. He was a greater for it. You know what I'm saying? I did a lot of time with Jabbar Greater for it. You know what I mean? That's the OG for real. But yeah, Jabbar was up Greater for it. But business still had to be taken care of. And I never heard that McFadden Whitehead was kicking back up top. You know what I mean, to Jabbar, whatever. And then that's alleged. Then it was also alleged that John took out some money from some heavy guys in the street, because after the record starts selling, you know what I mean, and you can't write no more hit tunes, it's hardly nothing if the residuals ain't coming in. It's hard to live and keep up that, Mercedes-Benz driving, diamond ring, mink coat swinging lifestyle that these people get used to. You know what I mean? Did he owe Jamar money? Jamar. Who's Jamar? I know he owed Jabbar. It's alleged that he owed Jabbar money, not Jamar. There were some good shows after the show is over. You run to a little street. I forgot the home and watched come out and things come out. So you can't talk. Photograph. Yeah. Young Riaz, the Drip King. What's up, Young Riaz? How you doing? Greater Fort was my uncle second home in the 70s. I had my own. Hey, man, I bet you did, because, bro, Greater Fort was, it's a change of life, bro. Yeah, absolutely. So John Whitehead was alleged to had owed a heavy debt to some heavy guys in the street, right? So now, like I said, in uptown, the way the houses is built, they don't have backyards. They got driveways. So you got your garage would be in the back with you have in the back of your house where your garage and driveway would be. So you ain't got to park in front. You can come and drive through your driveway. And he was a guy who his hobby was fixing cars. That was his spare time. I guess when he wasn't singing and whatever, he would work on cars and stuff. Mm-hmm. So this broad daylight, mid-afternoon, him and his man out there, they just fixing the car, talking, whatever. Yeah, I mean, legend. Question: did Jabbar kill Major? Did Jabbar kill Major Coxon? Jabbar was not a part of that team that went to Jersey and slaughtered Major Coxon and his family. I believe that was alleged to have been Sam Christian and Ronald Harvey and a couple other guys. Now, Jabbar, he wasn't in on that. Jabbar got locked up for the Dubrow's furniture store murders on South Street. If you could recall that, they was extorting the guy who owned the furniture store on South Street, and they went up in there, and yeah, that's what he got the joint for. But he had came home after that. He had made bail, He had made bail, and when he was on the run, he was working for Elijah Muhammad. When he was on the run, he was Elijah Muhammad's personal bodyguard. That's how heavy Jabbar was, man. He's a real dude, man. Yeah, I played chess with Jabbar a few times on the block. You know what I mean? I remember Jabbar, he would come out on the block and just stand. Yeah, he'd just stand on the block, and it would be an honor if he picked you to play chess with him, because he was like the boss. He was one of the bosses out here, for real, But yeah, so John Whitehead and his partner, his man, they're in the back of the driveway. They fixing the cars, and like I said, this broad daylight, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, I believe. Three guys walk up. You know what I'm saying? Boom, they hit him and his man up. Fuck, they boom on blow both of them. You know what I mean? Blow both of them down and keep it moving. Keep it pushing. Boom, right there. Left him in the alleyway. Now, his man didn't die. His man his man survived. But everybody know, and even the police, when they do the ballistics and whatnot, they was like, yo, this looked like a professional hit. It's like a hit. You know what I mean? And then they was trying to figure out the motive. Yeah, blew up Dubrow's. Yeah, they set it on fire and stuff. Yeah, the furniture store. Yeah. Yeah. So when they caught John in the alleyway, the police even said that it might have been a hit, And I remember during that time, when I had read it in the newspaper, because I lit up town at that time, you know what I mean? And I was like, damn. And then I started, thinking back, like, why they hit him up? And then I started, getting, being out there, being tapped in, people be talking. They start talking about who he was outside of the music business. You know what I'm saying? Because, he was, indulging in the lifestyle. Because, he was Hollywood at once upon a time. You know what I'm saying? Like Rolls Royces and shit like that. You got to understand, like, Philly guys, Philly, not period. It's just not it's just it's extra, like as far as the the swag or whatnot. It's extra. So, it's nothing for a nigga to, bust out in a Rolls Royce or some shit like that. Diamond, you know what I mean? Just fancy fly niggas. And he was that once upon a time. And the thing about, that lifestyle, man, if you can't maintain it, anybody from the Moroccos, that's the Moroccos, that's North Philly. I remember the Moroccos, when I was a young boy, the Moroccos had the biggest gang in the city, I believe. Yeah, Moroccos is North Philly. Yeah. Let me see what area the Moroccos had. I can't recall. But yeah, I know the Moroccos. My back in the early the 60s and the 50s, my dad, he ran the Tenderloins. They from 10th and Green, 11th and Wallace, around the Richard Allen area. He ran that gang back in the day. I'm from downtown though. I'm from South Philly. You know what I'm saying? I'm from the 2-5. you know. But yeah, so with his hearing about, you know, all his alleged ties in the street, you know, I'm like, wow, you know, because another thing about Philly, man, if you don't, you gotta feed if you're on your way up and you're doing your thing, you gotta make sure you feed the people. Because I'm gonna tell you, man, they the same motherfuckers that's gonna feed you and maintain you on your way till you get back on your feet. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really know what kind of guy he was. You know what I mean? But I know that he had a, you know, he liked the lifestyle. You know what I mean? I also know that, you know, I don't know, but I know it's alleged that he took that money, you know what I'm saying, you know, or that work, that's money too. And I heard, what's her name? Who that? Hey, y'all, I can't remember. And I heard that he wasn't kicking back upstairs no more. You know what I mean? Because he ain't have it. He ain't have it. You know what I mean? The Moon Gang. That's Market Street. That's West Philly. You know what I mean? Hey, I'm gonna tell you, bro. Uh, what's my man name? OG used to run the Moon Gang, man. You know what I'm saying? He could have been middleweight champ of the world, bro. Buttercup. Buttercup ran the Moon Gang. If anybody know about Buttercup, yeah, like don't let that name fool you. What's up, Redbone with the new money? Lex Street. That's down the bottom. They got they had the massacre down on Lex Street. The Lex. I might do a story on the Lex Street massacre because I'm gonna tell you, they locked like 6 guys up for the Lex Street massacre, and none of them had anything to do with the crime. The Faruqi brothers, two brothers and shit. It was 3 niggas, but the Faruqi brothers, you know what I mean, wind up murking everybody in that crib and over. And I'm gonna tell y'all, man, I think 6 or 7 lives was lost over a dispute about the clutch on a car breaking down. Yeah, boy, want to pump that bread. You know what I'm saying? Fairmount Ave, Uber. I was just up that way. I was just up there. I just was up there. Friday. Friday, y'all. Sitting in front of the police station. What was that on? What? 39th and I don't know, right around there. I was up there the other day, y'all, doing some work and shit. But so anyway, let me get back to my man. Hold on, I got something to smoke, y'all. Shout out to all the Libras, and this Libra season is fall season, you know. I love the fall weather, man. Shout out to y'all, you know. All right, give me a minute. Let me get a light. Yeah. One thing about entertainers and stuff being intertwined with it's hard not to be intertwined with the street guys in the entertainment business in Philadelphia because if you need financing, that's how you going to get in. If you need protection, that's how you going to get in. So, you know, but when you start taking money from the wrong guys, you be in a desperate situation. And I can see a guy like that, you know, mortgages and car notes and the money not coming in no more and all the kids and shit, you start, you know, you might want, you know what I mean, think you can move something real quick. Because that's a lot of niggas, that's what a lot of people like. People people do things they never done in order to maintain a certain type of lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? I remember when like it was no second thought for me to get, you know, fuck up in the streets and then go do something to get right back. That could have wound me up in either dead or in jail for the rest of my life. It was no second thought. You know what I mean? All to try to, you know, to keep myself, you know what I mean, in the know, in the mix of the streets or whatnot. So I could see him being out there, getting on his down on his luck, taking a couple 100,000 or a few joints from the street guys and shit to get back in position. I wish I was from Philly. Oh, Philly is a. Where you from? Where you from? You originally from Philly under new management? That's what's up. You from Nebraska. Yeah, you from Nebraska. We heard all about you in Nebraska, all the way from PA. Put your gift in the whole nine. No, we know she from Compton. Diva be playing too much. Diva, how you doing, though? Everything good? I was in the clouds last night. I was in the clouds the other day. I'm always in your clouds. I'm good. I ain't doing nothing. I'm talking about John Whitehead. You remember John Whitehead, McFadden and Whitehead? They boomed him in his alleyway, Well, the streets know why he got boomed. I'm just giving y'all a little background on who he was and whatnot. He wrote Backstabbers by the OJs. I think him and McFadden wrote I Always Love My Mama, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look that up real quick. I think they wrote that for the OJs, man. Grew up in that Morocco area. Yeah. Okay. I think he wrote that, so his murder, as like a lot of other Philadelphia murders that happen, and those type of people, it ain't been solved yet. And it came up because it was the anniversary, I guess. This people was talking about how they have yet to find the killers or whatnot. But his son know what time it was. Mike, that's my man. He knew what time it was with his pop. You know what I'm saying? Because man, like I say, the only way you gonna if you made it and you get down on your luck or whatever, it's them same guys, them street guys that's gonna put you back in position. You know what I mean? But I don't know about John White. I know John White. I know he used to, he was getting high too. Like he had a cocaine habit. I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all. John White also had a cocaine habit. You know what I'm saying? That's why he probably was desperate. You know what I mean? And just niggas will take a package. A user will take a package, and the first thing he'll do is he'll take some for his personal use. That's how you're dealing with a desperate dope fiend. He know he need every dime of that back to pay the back end. But the first thing he'll do is, I'm gonna get myself right. And you know what I mean? That's what I tell you, man. The streets, drugs, and if you ain't equipped for that type of shit, and you can't wait till you get in your late ages and think you're equipped for that shit. Nah, your track record says otherwise. You know what I mean? It say otherwise. So John White, he had one of the biggest funerals, I say, in Philly. It was a big giant because he was a well-liked dude. It wasn't like he was a uppity type guy. A lot of guys reach celebrity status and you can't touch them no more. You know what I mean? They be on some, better than our thou type shit, but we automatically, you know what I'm saying? Like we might come in a room and niggas are just getting mad for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, you know what I mean? Like this just it don't be about money. It be, the aura and shit, And he had that, you know what I mean? He had that. Yeah, this is Lady My Millionaire for this song right here. This song was played at the Philadelphia Sixers games, the championship when the Eagles won, championship when the Phillies won. Like, this is almost like a national anthem for winners. You know what I mean? And it came from two brothers from Philadelphia, man. One who was brutally murdered in the streets, man, due to some illicit activity. You know what I mean? I can't find my lighter and shit. Damn, my opinion. How you doing today, Miss Lady? How's everything going? Good to see you in the building. I can't keep my light because y'all know I'm smoke. I got some listen. I ain't even gonna tell y'all. But yeah, man, like no matter what you do, and as far as getting that money, you know what I mean? You gotta always take care of your people. I can type it, but I can't say it because my Compton swag kick you. Ain't nothing like that Compton swag, though. You know? Nothing like it. Yeah, them guys used to pull up, man. It used to be a club on Walnut Street. It's the Hard Rock Cafe now. They turned, but back in the day, it used to be called J.B. Winchell's. And all the entertainers and the athletes would go there. I remember my homie and shit. I used to go there. I used to slide with him a lot. You know what I mean? He, R.I.P. to my man Ace. Ace and this guy played for the Sixers named David Wingate. They was messing with the same guy. God, they was messing with the same chick. So David Wingate and my man Ace, they messing with the same chick, right? And I was going to do something aboard for my man. You know what I mean? Like, cause that's you know what I mean? But he played for the Sixers and shit. He was like 6'5", big nigga. He from DC, from B-More. Nigga from out of B-More and shit. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of the chicks and stuff used to be in those clubs. We had a club in Jersey. One of the players for the Sixers, he owned it, called Rick Mahorn's. Rick Mahorn had a club out in Jersey. So we would all slide out there. And that's where a lot of the streets and the entertainment world would intermingle and Klein and shit, Georgetown boy, exactly, true. Georgetown Hoya, yeah, he was a Hoya. You know what I mean? Yeah, he'd have kept playing himself, man. He was going to catch one. You know what I mean? 40-40. I think I was in prison when 40-40 was popping. That ain't my era. The 40-40 shit, I wasn't in that. That, you know what I mean? That I ain't never been to that club in my life. I come from clubs like J.B. Winchell's, Rick Mahorn's. It used to be a club called Francine's in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Phyllis Hyman, she used to have her birthday parties there every year. You know what I'm saying? And my peoples, him and her personal whatever was, you know what I mean, dating or whatever. So I used to roll with man Tony, you know what I mean, because I'm always holding the team down. Back then, I wasn't really, I'm with the old, when I'm with back then when I was with the guys, I was kind of young and I was only there for a certain purpose, but I enjoyed everything about, you get the what they call it, the spoils, you know what I'm saying? Cause I ain't in front. I was never the man, but I can guarantee you I was always next to him. Always, cause I'll boom a nigga. I was, you know what I mean? That was my thing. You know what I mean? The Liberty. Where's that at? I know the hotel. I used to go to the Hotel Philadelphia. That used to pop. What's that joint called? Kim Graves. You remember Kim Graves, Truth? That was a popping joint too back in the days and shit. When niggas had to wear shoes at Jarrett's Lounge. That's an uptown spot. The Phoenix. Yeah. Jarrett's Lounge, man. Yo. Yeah, that was AJ and them spot, Truth. You know, they used to had that joint locked down. You know, South Philly boys couldn't really hang in Jarrett's like that if you ain't really know nobody. And you know, man, Mark Casey, that was my folks, RP Mark Casey. But that's how I used to mangle a roll, get the move around up there, bro. You know, South Philly ain't allowed up there like that. But one thing, right? I'm gonna tell you about Philadelphia. Ball players, athletes, and shit like that, niggas who sing and all that kind of shit, they get a pass all over the city. They get a pass all over the city, man. You know? So my man John Whitehead, you know, when he got killed, the most of the street talk was that, you know, he ain't pay up that money and somebody put something on his head, you know what I mean? Because like they still doing, people don't believe it or not, man, but there are still contract killings out here. They just locked a young boy up out here. He had like 4 murders for hire. Like, yeah, show me a picture. Give me a picture. Like, yeah. Like, nigga, this shit is still like, you wouldn't believe it. Yo, OG, she was so beautiful, such great talent. I wonder why. I'm gonna tell you, like, Phyllis was that girl. But you know, Phyllis, she was insecure about her weight. That was one issue she had, because Phyllis used to go up and down. And then, you know, she was fucking around too. Like, she used to ping and all that, you know what I mean? And her thing was she liked them peas, you know what I mean? Phyllis used to like them peas and that juice back then, you know what I mean? And because she was a sniffer, but her depression came from her being insecure with her weight issues and stuff like that, and also her sexuality, you know what I mean? Because she went both ways, you know what I mean, like that. So yeah, Phyllis had a lot of issues, man. Plus they used to you know, she was a diva. Plus she was a diva. You know how the divas are, you know. So yeah, but as far as talent wise, she top 5. I'm talking about out of all of them, the Patties, the Nita Bakers. I put Phyllis in the top 5. You know. Yeah, I would go to Phyllis. I remember the first time I went to one of her birthday parties, I was like 15. I was going to every birthday party she had after that till I went to jail. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. Delphonics. Yeah, they are an older group. I don't know too much about the Delphonics, but I could do my research on them. But I know all of them was corner boys, man. If you check it out, like a lot of them dudes used to be on the corner. Back then, them guys used to get together. They used to sing. You know, they used to do things like people don't. People don't have a lot of talent these days and shit. You know what I mean? Because you know, they don't put all these stigmas in people's head that their children be having ADHD, and you know, you believe that shit, because when I was coming up, it wasn't none of that. You know what I mean? He was just a wild little rambunctious kid. You know, wasn't no disorder. You know what I'm saying? But anything you could put a dollar sign on, and that's a whole nother story, man. But yo, is that the club in Cherry Hill where Jackie Wilson had the heart attack? What's that, Franchines? I'm not sure. But yeah, that was a very, you know, popular club back in them day, back in those days, you know, when I was hanging out. This is in the 80s and shit. But you could go back to the 70s in that club when you know where the black mafia shot the club up in Jersey when Billy Paul was performing on stage and he had to dive off stage and shit when they killed millionaire Tyrone Palmer and shit. You know what I mean? Mr. Millionaire got killed down that club that night. You know? They got locked up on the highway, the car flipped over and all that shit. Yeah. The same guys under new management that were supposedly that hit Major Coxon, you know? Yep, same hit team. Yeah, back in those days, if you was in trouble in the streets, you knew who was coming for you because you knew those when you seen a certain guy, you already knew why he was there. You knew, you know what I'm saying? He was there to get, you know, oh, that's such and such. He come to collect the money. Oh, that's such and such. He come to drop the package off. Oh shit, that's such and such. Somebody about to, you know what I mean? Everybody knew who was who. Like today, you don't know, you know what I mean? You got niggas running around with fucking purses pulling out. I'm dead. Come on now. A pocketbook? You got a gut. Your pants so tight you can't even walk. Like, and you out here, you know what I mean? Like, that's what these cats into, man. Yeah, so I remember when dude got killed, when John got killed, and that's when they had locked the prisons down and shit. I think they had shipped Jabbar all the way to Minnesota. Yo, because this guy has so much influence in that prison, they had to take him out and ship him to another prison in another state. They shipped him to Minnesota. You know what I mean? Because he had so much influence in that jail, man. I remember, man, you could go. He had the masjid built in that jail. He had it built. Yeah, they built it. He had his own office and everything in there. Like, I remember I could get a pass from the block. Somebody come in the block and say, yo, you got to go down to masjid. I go down to masjid because I got a fucking phone call. And somebody from out in the streets called in the jail to a private phone, and I come off the block and get that call. It was Jabbar's phone. That's how much influence he had in that jail. So they had to get him out of there, and that was the guy who was allegedly to have had the thumb on John Whitehead and McFadden. Yeah. The Stinger's still up, yo. The Stinger still got them shrimp. The Stinger still got them fries. Sid Booker's still on deck, bro. You can ride down Broad Street and pull up in front of Sid Booker's right now, bro. Facts. My wife loves Sid Booker. She'll put on a motherfucking pair of slippers and ride down that joint like 3 a.m. and get some goddamn shrimp. Yo. Yeah, they probably got the best joints in the city, bro. They always been popping. You gotta come down and try some of them from Compton. I know you ain't got nothing like that in Compton. Diva, they got shrimp like that in Nebraska? So yeah, Jabbar, that was, and then I don't even want to talk about the guys who, you know, had, so allegedly he got that work from out here, because, you know, people still active out here. That's one thing about YouTube, man. Excuse me, y'all, I ain't got no lighter. I gotta keep running on this candle and shit. I don't understand how a lot of people be talking a lot of shit that's like, does it be people still active out here? Because I remember it was a little beef online with some guys from Philadelphia, man. A guy by the name of Garcia, who's affiliated with the Dream Chasers and Meek Mills, and a guy named Mike Knox, who's affiliated with 50 Cent and G Unit and shit. But on the flip side, niggas don't even be knowing who these guys are. I remember back in the day, Beanie Siegel and Mike Knox They was rumbling in the club. They tore that shit up, man. Because Knox ain't no little nigga. And Garcia, I don't really know Garcia for being nothing but a rapper, but I know he, that don't mean nothing in Philly and shit, because, that don't mean nothing. But that shit could have got really, like, dangerous with this internet shit. But I'm glad it was some real niggas able to see through all that propaganda and get them niggas to squash that shit, man. Like them corny ass niggas like Whack 100 and all them goofy ass niggas, man, be promoting that bullshit. Man, you'll get yourself boomed in Philadelphia coming here with that goofy shit. You know what I mean? I moved in Philly to LA in 2005, lived in Rita Heights, but we did business in Compton when Eric was mayor. We had a dance school in Compton Boulevard, then the Career Link Center. Okay. Under new management, you mean you actually saw the singing on the corner? Who was singing on the corner? You remember those dudes used to sing on the corners, man? Go down in front of the because we had we had the Uptown Theater back in the day. We had a theater called the Uptown. It was like New York's Apollo. You know what I'm saying? Everybody from James Brown to everybody came to the Apollo, just like they did to the Uptown, just like they did to the Apollo. And I'm going to tell you something else. Georgie Woods, that's fam, that's my peoples. Georgie Woods worked for the radio station. He was a DJ. What's up, Turned Up TV? Sam Rowe in the building. How y'all doing today on Sunday? So yeah, Georgie Woods, he had a spot on a radio station, WDS back in the day, but he also was the MC, the DJ, the host at the Uptown and shit. And everything, his whole concept, right? His whole concept was bringing everybody to town, letting them perform, letting the kids dance and all that kind of stuff. Boom, he met a dude from LA. Oh, you know what I'm saying? This dude name was Don Cornelius. Do you know that nigga went and stole the whole concept, took it to LA and turned it into Soul Train? Yeah, that's facts. Them facts, man. He stole all that whole Soul Train dance thing that come from Georgie Woods and the Uptown Theater, Broad Street, bro. Those are facts. But yeah, they had the thumb alleged to may have had one of the biggest gangsters in the city who was incarcerated at that time, may have had his thumb on, John Whitehead and shit, or, it's two options, or some guys in the street that he took something from. And when I say took, I don't mean physically took. I mean we call it taking something. When somebody give you a package, just you took that. You know what I mean? Because so anything come with that, like you losing it or don't bring the money, you gotta take what come with it. And I guess he took what came with it was him getting executed in his driveway while fixing cars. Hey, if you walk on Broad Street, we got the Philadelphia Musical Walk of Fame. You'll see his name right there. John Whitehead next to Ashford, next to Teddy Pendergrass, next to Patti LaBelle, and Jazzy Jeff Wilson, all the, you know what I mean, right there. They got a whole walk for those people, man. I don't know. Last time I was there, the Stinger cooking frozen shrimp. Nah. They see the Stinger don't went through like that's a family-owned business. So it's always you gotta catch the older ones. When the older people are there, everything is fresh. You know how it is. When the young ones run in the store, when they got the keys to the building, and look. Yeah, you gotta catch it when the older folks are doing it. Y'all remember the White Southern Barbecue on Erie Ave? The white's still there. They ain't got no food like that. Yeah, they ain't got nothing like that. Yeah, we known for more than just a cheesesteak. You know what I'm saying? So what y'all think about that boy Sean Combs? Puff Daddy, P. Diddy. You know what I mean? See, my thing with him, right? When the guys started, like Loon and fucking Mark Curry and my man Black Rob and all the way back to Craig Mack, like Lil Sammy. Y'all remember Lil Sammy? Signed a bad boy back in the day. They say Lil Sammy got on stage and dookied on himself, and you know what I mean? He had lost his bowels and shit. Like it's more people that Puffy, you know what I mean? Free Diddy. Hey man, free him. Man, free him. I wouldn't want to be him, And guys like that don't have, like, people think a guy like Diddy gonna have a heart in jail, man. This nigga's waiting to look out for Diddy. And you know what I'm saying? And I ain't talking about on no perverted stuff. Like, this nigga's I'm talking about excuse me, hardcore seasoned criminals waiting to look out for Diddy. Make sure none of these clowns don't try to disrespect him. I read Mark Curry book back in the day. Puff, but yeah, like, this ain't nothing new. Truth, like, Puff been out there, man. I remember back, this was early on, man, and this when Mason Puff was still good. When Cam was like, he went in the, they were standing and he like, yo, what's that John doing? And Mace was like, man, that's Puffy bathroom. Like, that was way back then. You know what I mean? So, and the thing about it, you're going to see who is really one of them guys. You're going to see who was really one of them guys and who really had encounters with Puffy and thousands of bottles of baby oil. You're going to see it now. Certain niggas going to start moving different. And certain niggas going to be the same because they know, man, I ain't never indulged in none of them parties. You know what I mean? But a lot of motherfuckers in the industry going to start switching up because they going to be hoping that shit don't come out. You know what I mean? And solid individuals who are solid, they going to be the, because Puffy going to tell. Like, he'll tell everything. You know what I mean? He's telling. Like, he's going to tell. If whatever the federal government needs to know, Sean Combs is telling. Cat Williams shine the light in the town. Like Cat knew what time it was because Georgie was the guy with the goods. Facts. That was his link. This was John. Yup. Georgie Woods, the guy with the goods. Yeah. Yeah, our blood Ben. Yeah, that's we got the same bloodline. Man, the Woods, and yeah. So I don't know, man. There ain't no such thing as there ain't no allegations and shit. Like, he's been indicted. He ain't getting no bail. I don't know why he ain't getting no bail. They could have gave him bail. Where he gonna go? He can't run. You know what I mean? See, and the only thing that's gonna mess him up is if it was underage, children involved. Because I don't understand where the trafficking come from. You know what I mean? Unless, you know what I mean? Because that White Slave Act, trafficking of women, was invented for us. They made that law because of us, the black men, like because of Jack Johnson. They couldn't do nothing else to him. So, especially when he was putting it down on Mae West Y'all know Jack Johnson was, knocking that down, right? They wasn't having that, so they enacted that law. You know what I mean? But I don't see that. I don't see that in his indictment. I don't see the trafficking unless there's some children or something involved, But from what I see right there, a lot of them charges is just, some charges is just there because of a bigger charge. And once that bigger charge gets this broke, the smaller ones will go down. Yeah, Mae West. Yeah. Jack Johnson. Yup. That's why, they started that because of him, man. Yeah. But yeah, I seen the guy, back to my man, Puffy and shit, right? When he beat that girl up, and that that wasn't the first time he beat no girls up or none of that. Like a lot of shit was starting to be leaked and shit on that guy, man. But I don't even like. I wouldn't even watch his trial or nothing. I ain't all interested in that kind of. I'm more interested in Pee Wee Longway's trial. I want to see how Pee Wee Longway trial go. Y'all heard about Pee Wee Longway and none? They got busted on a major drug operation, over 200 mil. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to see how that be going. Yeah, man. Yeah, they was doing it the long way. You know what I'm saying? I don't really want to be hearing about no perverted crap and niggas with 100 bottles of baby oil. These niggas had over 200 bricks and thousands of pounds and all the pills and all the work and all the, you know what I mean? Like, that's an operation I want to see how the feds take that down. But I know one thing for sure, two things for certain. If you got 100 Codys, you're fucked, man. You fucked. 100 co-defendants, I say out of 100 co-defendants, 74 of them gonna tell. 74 niggas out of that 100 gonna tell. Yeah. Yep. They sure enough will. I used to wait for a minute. It's still up and running. I worked at the one out there in West Philly. What's that? The Whites? Yeah, the Whites on Erie Ave still open. Baby oil was pretty slippery. Yeah, that we used to. You get your baby oil. I tell you that, right? when you incarcerated, right? And they about to do a cell extraction, right? So the guards, they put on these turtle suits or whatever. So you in your cell. What you do is you take your shirt off and you put baby oil all over your body, and then you wrap a towel around your head. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna help the impact from the blows from the sticks, that they're gonna be hitting you in your head with the stick. So you wrap the towel around your head, you squirt the baby all on your body, and you squirt it all in front of the door. You know what I'm saying? And you go to the back of the cell. So when they run in there, rush you, they start slipping on the floor. And when they be throwing their sticks and hit the towel, you feel it, but it don't knock you. You can get you some blow. They're gonna knock you out and drag you out of there. But you can get you at least, like, you could probably break a jaw or bust a nose or something. And that's all you gotta do. Yo, I squirt that stuff all in front. They come in there, they slip. I throw me he raised that stick. But yeah, they're gonna drag you out of there. But I know for sure I broke me a couple jaws, and yeah. And then if they get you right, you got the oil on your body, so you're gonna slip out of that shit. Throw 2 punches, boom, boom, boom. And next thing you know, you wake up in an infirmary. Nigga, like, damn, nigga, wake up, you in a motherfucking infirmary and shit, Yeah, I see some niggas never come from the infirmary. I done seen them kill niggas on cell extractions. You know what I mean? Like, I was fortunate, man, that them motherfuckers ain't kill me, man. But Yeah, I done seen him drag niggas from the top tier all the way to the bottom. His head hitting every step. Boom, 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 boom. You just like, dude, he dead. Like, yo, he dead. And they be like, lock it down, back in your cells. Like, yeah, man, shit crazy. Did they close the one in West Philly and North Philly? The Whites in North Philly is still open on Brewer and Erie. I don't know about the one up west. Yeah, I know they both under new management and shit. They just still got the name. You know what I mean? But listen though, it's crazy though, because they be keeping the name. So I go uptown, right? You know what I'm saying? Pagano's. I'm going up to get me a cheesesteak from Pagano's and shit, right? Man, Pagano's ain't even got, man, they just got the name. They got goddamn Mexicans back there making cheesesteaks, man. I'm like, yo, what happened to the people? They sold it, but they allowed them to keep the name for a percentage. Because you know, Pagano's is, you know what I mean? Everybody know about Pagano's. Oh, did he need some of that? Yeah, so man, like, yeah, John Whitehead, my guy, John Whitehead, man, RP to John Whitehead, man. He had came, you know, he made a name for himself, you know, coming out of, you know, the streets of Philadelphia. I think he grew up out north, you know what I'm saying? Him and his partner, you know, McFadden, you know, they was able to start writing some songs and they got heard by, you know, Kenny Gamble, you know, and Huff, and who were the owners of Philly International Records, who had people on their label like Patti LaBelle, The Temptation, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, Evelyn Champagne King, like anybody who was ever artist in Philadelphia, the OJs, you know, came through here. They wrote songs for them, man. And, you know, I guess he got into some financial difficulties, man, which is not hard, you know, when you live in that type of lifestyle, and especially when you ain't, you know, getting it coming in, like it was, you know, more going out than coming in. You know what I mean? Because a lot of them dudes, they don't be business savvy. You know what I mean? And then playing, you know, 1 foot in, 1 foot out with the street guys and shit. Because, you know, a lot of guys, you know, like a lot of the guys that rap, they always wanted to be street guys, you know, but they couldn't do it in the streets, but they could articulate it, what another nigga did. You know what I'm saying? You know, it goes vice versa. You know what I mean? The same thing with singers and stuff like that. You know, they always wanted to be the cool, suave street guy, you know, but they can only articulate being that guy, and, you know, and do it very well on wax or whatever, you know. But then when it come out here, have to do it in the real life, you wind up getting boomed in an alleyway somewhere in broad daylight, and your murder never gets solved, man. That's the harsh reality of it. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, that's what happened to John Whitehead, yo. Yeah. Gotta be careful out here, man. Yeah, that was his joint. That's their joint right there. Yeah. Wow. Yep. You want to hear that? I got to turn up a little bit. Let me see. Turn up a little bit. Hold on. Here we go. McFadden and Whitehead. Philly International. Like, this is like an anthem, man. And I know, like, today, like, his family, they should be receiving some cake off this shit right now. Like, I believe I seen this in a commercial. I heard this song in somebody's commercial or something, man. You know what I mean? Sipping and smoking. Yeah. I ain't heavy into the politics, so I don't know what's going on with the election. All I know is Kamala Harris got the money right now for the election. It might be how Cool C and Steady B got caught. Oh, that's well, well, that's a fact, truth. Cool C started hustling. Cool C was hustling when he dropped Glamorous Life. Like he was running with the, you know what I mean? He was running with them boys then. Work, you know what I mean? And yeah. And they, trying to the lifestyle with the trying to live your rhymes and shit was what happened to Cool C. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't getting that money no more. No more videos and shit. You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? Let's rob a bank. Yeah, let's rob a bank. I know what's the name of them. That's what they was doing. Like, what's my man name that got killed? Was it Mac Dre from LA? I think it's Mac Dre and them. The Romper Room crew. Yeah, they was robbing banks. Yeah, they robbed banks, man. Back in the day, man, like the that's how niggas got in the studio. Like somebody was getting the money in the street to put them niggas, you know what I mean? Like you see Eric B and Rakim paid in full. The album cover, you check the back of it, they got the original 50 Cent on in there, that part of that crew. You know what I mean? He's part of that crew. Like everybody know the original 50 Cent wasn't nothing but a notorious stick-up kid. But Eric B was in the streets real heavy. You know what I mean? Like that whole crew, I think it's the Puerto Rican boy, Puerto Rican Supreme. They were running with that crew back then, man. Like, niggas was really getting busy up, you know what I mean, Hilltop back then, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Niggas was getting money up Hilltop. You know what I mean? Schoolie D and them up PSK, Parkside Killers, 52nd Parkside. You know what I mean? Like it really go down on 21st and Siegel, man. Beans wasn't just playing, just really, yeah, really go down. Like, you know what I mean? I be seeing Jones online. They talking about Will Smith had ties to the Junior Black Mafia and all that. The only ties he probably had was getting extorted. You know what I mean? But he wasn't selling no drugs or none of that. Everybody know Will Smith wasn't selling no drugs. Will Smith was a good kid. I ran ball with them at who that? Who you ran ball up there? Doc. Oh, okay. When Doc and them was there, listen. Back then, Tone was, you remember little Tone was the ball boy and shit, man. Tone went to school together and shit. Like, I was just telling my man the other day, when Tone got messed up and shit, he went to stay with Mike Bibby in Arizona and shit, because Henry Bibby was the coach. I mean, Henry Bibby was playing when Tone was the ball boy and shit. They took him in like family. Doc took him in like family too. He used to bring Doc's sons out the project. If you see our basketball court is a memorial to Dr. J's son. You know what I mean? Our basketball court in my neighborhood, that's a memorial to Doc's son who got killed. Yeah. Like look the Doc, Daryl Dawkins, cause what's the lady name? Damn. Well, the lady used to live across the street from me. She had a brother, Mr. Mickey and shit. Mr. Mickey was one of the most flyest guys ever. Old head, Mr. Mickey, and he used to mess with Jelly Bean, Kobe Bryant, Joe Bryant's mother's sister. You know what I'm saying? So they like a lot of Daryl Dawkins and Joe Bryant and all of them. They would be over this, and then it was this big time dope deal out the way. His name was Ja Rule. Mr. Ja Rule and shit. They used to be over OG Ja Rule house and shit. You know what I mean? I used to be going through there and shit, doing my 1-2 You know what I mean? And you see those guys in there. You know what I mean? Like, shit, man. You seeing people like so when you be young, you seeing them people, and it don't be like no niggas talk being starstruck and all that shit. Like niggas be our motherfuckers with more money than them. Like, you know what I mean? Man, my old heads used to laugh at some of them guys, man. When they come in clubs and shit like that, man, they laugh at these guys, man. You know what I mean? Cause they be the ones, like we was the ones. They just, man, if you talking about it on that type time, it was just legitimate, you know, as far as money and stuff and all that, like never. I remember Tone. You remember Tone the ball boy? You know Tone died, man. Tone was cool with all the players. He used to get Mo Cheek sneaks and get us in the back of the Spectrum and shit when the Spectrum was popping, man. Because, man, Tone, yeah, we all grew up together. Tone from 17th Street, man. When he got messed up, man, he went to live with Mike Bibby and shit. You know what I mean? Came home one day, which he shouldn't have. Never go back, man. You know, the vices and shit. He came home, caught a hot one, man. Crazy. That was my man, Tone. We was true. We was just talking about Black Gold, James Schuler and shit. You know what I mean? How his bro got all that money. People didn't realize that. You know what I mean? He fought Tommy Hearns at in Vegas for middleweight. Remember for the I think it was the junior middleweight title and shit. You know what I mean? And he lost the fight, but he had got that $1 million Lords of London insurance policy. Plus, he had made about $750,000 from the fight, and then he was riding that motorcycle on the Vegas Strip the next day and crashed and shit. You know what I mean? That was fucked up, man. But I heard they got some stars coming out the Schuler gym. He got a gym down the bottom. His brother Daryl, the only nigga I know that ever beat the feds. Remember the reefer in the envelope was called reefer. Oh hell yeah! I definitely remember that. They don't have that no more. They had the Sesame Mill and the Acapulco Red. Yeah, yeah, Jeffrey. Yeah, he was a bad boy, man. He was nice. So yeah, man. R.I.P. to John Whitehead, man. Lost John Whitehead to unfortunate death. You know, being mixed in the streets and the real life. When your life gets mixed up with the streets, man, become a statistic out here. You know. So yeah, man, y'all. I know the football's up. I'm about to go check me out some before I, hit the payment and shit for a minute. So y'all go ahead and have a great day. I appreciate y'all dropping in. You know, leave y'all with something to go out on. You know what I mean? Zara, Real Talk Channel. How you doing today, sis? Good to see you in the building. Yeah, you a little late. I'm about to bounce up out of here, but I appreciate you sharing me out.
When you tell niggas no, they try to come for you. But when you tell niggas yes, they try to come for you. Causing smoke when they could've just smoked a blunt with you. What's up with you? Dusty ass niggas looking for attention. Same niggas folded when you took them on a mission. Same nigga voted when you took them through the trenches. Same nigga told them when they put them on the benches. I don't even know why I be tight at niggas. We dealing with know-it-alls, always right ass niggas. You just ate, but you still wanna bite ass nigga. And you stink, that's why you always wanna fight ass nigga. Look, I ain't even mad. I'm just thinking more into it, talk behind my back. I'll be looking forward to it, I'll be in my bag. I'll show you how tourists do it when you spin crack. You don't need a chorus to listen, the thugs need it. Hoes gonna use it, see? You just a goofy with the same old music. Hit you with a pack, better pray you don't lose it. Or they gonna start clapping, like they saying no music. Like how you gonna get the cheddar? You just piss niggas off, gotta get your shit together. I'm on Rick Ross Graham, I'm trying to get rich forever. Whenever I'm around, shit look like a get together. Half these niggas don't even know what they wanna be. How time just be passing them by, I be confused. Don't try to stand next to the nigga with the money, become the nigga with the money. Film 8 a.m. wake ups, oatmeal and cardio. Light Reed, raised by wolves, you know Cavario. He took his stroom and threw his shell, thought he was Mario. Pack your funeral with a flyer, your local partios. The ones that never helped out, telling you how they stressed out. I ain't invite you, so you can go ahead and let yourself out. I'm all in the crib, get the stepper, there ain't no gene in here. Where niggas was at when it was just me and the fiend in here. When bands told me stop taking perks, I was nodding. 45, no cereal on it, I was plotting. Shoulda let me borrow it, no push ice, they stocking. Change a nigga top, then it's robbing. We for the drama, never help me get a sandwich. We wanna talk about some bread, bringing up homies that passed, but I don't talk about the dead. I don't wanna jump in niggas' cars, I walk around instead. Trade in the hoodie, dino bike, cousin on the bags like a bird scene. Passed 100 turkeys out, no blog posts. I don't remember your face when we was all broke. A bunch of bitches out here barking, it's a dog show. Talking all that jazz like you talk coach. Salt Lake City, doing cocktails on Broadway with me. Roll a Dutch, a booty up in the hallway with me. 4 pistols in the club, I guess we all had stitchy. Swung a bat and left his ball head stitchy. Look like a baseball. They ain't listening but want your attention when they talk. All in the restaurant telling you pass the steak sauce. You bought it black, they telling you should have bought the great Porsche. Can't figure out nothing else but know how to get their hate off. The same nigga they ate off. I hate niggas like Adolf.
Y'all have a good day. I'm out.